Greetings. Welcome to the Yang Style Long Form Tai Chi course. I'm Michael Gilman. We're going to continue on with our exploration of the Yang Style form, the long form, sort of breaking it up into energetic pieces and playing with it. Just exploring it for principles and for fun. All right? So during the last episode, we left off at Fair Lady Works at Shuttles. And we're just going to continue right on from there. Okay, so the next movement is ward off left. So it looks like this. And right push upward. So in this case, in this ward off, it's a very fast, quick little movement that the person is punching in, and we're neutralizing it down to the side and stepping. And sort of this is a little bit, since I'm neutralizing it down, the person has a tendency to sort of fall down, so I'm going to then kind of slice and follow up with a kind of slice with the other hand. So it has a really bouncy quality. 1, 2. So the hands are, as always, we're coming from the center. Very easy and relaxing. 1, 2. Ward off, right push upward. Ward off, right push upward. Ward off, right push upward. So you can see how the hands basically stay in the front of the body as we're doing this. One, 2. I think it's just so beautiful the way things fall into place, the way you know, the way we keep the hands. You see, this is in the center on its side. It stays in the center, and again, it looks like it's going to cross my body, but the body is turning. Then it comes up, and now it looks like it goes way out, but of course, the body is going out, and it still stays on its side of the body and turns over. And this is then on its side of the body and comes over. So it's very beautiful, well-balanced, and fun. Okay, ward off left, right push upward. Very important that we load up each and every movement, that we load up the qua, load up the leg for, it's what we call contract, or gather the energy and explode it out. Okay? So in here, you see we gather the chi and release it. Here we gather the chi and release it. Also, there's a tendency on this and every other movement to fall. To just fall into the movement, like so. I want to remind you again, sink the chi. Always get rooted, then move. Get something touching and then move. Okay, then we roll back, press forward, and push. The next is single whip, another single whip. Now it's very similar to the last one that we did. Only this is a double. We're dealing with two punches. So we come, neutralize, join, neutralize, and slap. So this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The last one was 1, 2, 3, and then we dealt with something else. So this is dealing with the same person. 1, 2, 3. So it's so easy and relaxing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All the ways. It's always the ways. Keep the shoulder. There's a tendency to let the shoulders do this with the arms. No, it's the center. The center's reaching. The center is pulling. The center is turning. And the feet are just helping that happen. 1, 2, 3, Single whip. 1, 2, 3. Fun, huh? I like this one. There's not many I don't. I can't, actually, I don't think there's one I don't like, but anyway, there's some that are favorites more at one time than the other. Okay, we're back to waving hands like clouds. Now this waving hands like clouds appears to be pretty much the same as the last one. The last one, there was a punch coming in, we neutralized it, sidestep, and we used what we call shoulder width stance, a little bit wider stance. In this one, we're going to use what we call hip width, or sort of a natural stance. And the final one, towards the end, we're going to use close together. So basically, that's pretty much the only difference between the first one and the second one. In this case, somebody has grabbed my arm. I'm going to kind of break their arm and then come back. But it appears pretty much to be the same as the first one. It's just that the feet are a little different. So make sure, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Follow. Neutralize, control, release, and follow. Neutralize, control, release, follow. Follow. Sink, release. Sink, release. Now sometimes when I'm playing with these and we're exploring, I go up and down or just mess around with it. And in the form, of course, in our form, we always want to keep the dantian head all on the same horizontal plane all the time throughout the whole form. But because I'm playing around and exploring it, well, of course, sometimes you go up and down, sometimes you go lower. So, just play with it and don't worry about the exactness when you're playing. And that way you'll find out the truth of the form. Okay? So waving hands like clouds. 1, 2, 3. Then this single whip is a little different. This is knockdown, uppercut, neutralize, and back to this. There's a lot going on in this little bit. So this one is very nice. As you're pressing something down, this is coming up. So it has a very nice, but very balanced quality. So after the last one, here comes the punch. We step in, press down, and up. Again, using the waist. It gets blocked. She blocks and is attached here and then tries to throw another punch. I neutralize that punch and kind of pull a little bit here and then strike out. So this has the same quality as the single whip which we were just doing. Right? So it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. I like this one too. 2, 3. So qua, don't forget your qua. Next movement. Next movement. Where in the heck are we? Okay, so snake creeps down. Here we go. Snake creeps down. The punch is coming in, and we guide it down. So here, you'll see a lot of people bending down, which is nice exercise. Although, I tend to think if I'm putting my head out there, it would tend to get kind of possibly cut. So I guide it back. In this one, you don't have to go down very far. You just guide it down into this space. Somebody's punching to me, so I just guide it down and follow with a poke to the belly and a uppercut. Snake creeps down, golden pheasant. So it's 1, 2, neutralize, up, up. So all this isn't very round, and there's a tendency to want to bring the arm way back. I see it right in this nice hole here. One, poke, poke, poke. This is excellent hip exercise here. Creeps down is one of those ones that you can change your level. You know, some people go all the way down. Some people don't go down at all. There's just, you can go back, then down and in. Doesn't matter too much. We're just leading in. Now, the important thing is to turn this front toe out so that you can end up, if I'm facing this camera, say for instance, here my body is facing straight ahead. If I do this, very unstable because I don't have it wide enough, my hips aren't wide enough. So as we do this, we want to turn out, and then come up. This is a knee and finger go together. Pull down and up, pull down and up, pull down and up. Golden pheasant. Snake creeps down. Golden pheasant. Golden pheasant. Golden pheasant right, golden pheasant left. Right and left. This is a nice exercise. Right and left. Good. Then we're going to step back and repulse monkey once again. Now, this repulse monkey is a little bit different. If you remember in the course, the first one is the same. The next one is somebody's trying to kick me, so we're blocking. Grab the leg as we pull. We're going to then uproot. So it has this up, touch. This makes a very solid structure. The other hand comes up for balance. Yeah? It's sort of like if I was holding like something like that. Then grab and pull. Again, don't just fall back, just don't fall back on that foot. It's easy enough to just fall back, but no, make sure that you sink, grab, pull. Then we repeat, block, grab, pull. Pull, 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 pull. Pull. Okay, this little section creeps down, up, up, back, up, grab, pull, up, grab, pull. Good. Okay, slanting flying. This is similar to the last one, only this time somebody's punching in low. I'm going to come on here and neutralize to the side. So they're coming in, neutralize. I'm going to step behind them. So this is one of the few, this I can sweep their foot out or just get it behind them. And then this hand is going to come up and press, either strike down on the shoulder or press the person forward. Neutralize, step, press. Press. So again, for timing-wise, that by the time, so this is coming to sort of block as we come around. As we neutralize, this hand comes up a little. and then expand outward. Slanting flying. Now this raise hands, similar to the second one, that we're neutralizing around, we're getting back, emptying, empty, and slap. In the last one, the person was coming in and they were using their left hand so I could attack their elbow. Now here they're using their right hand, so I can't attack the elbow. So I'm just going to slap the face. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this hand just makes a quick little whip. And it's sort of a little spiral. And it's happening in the belly, belly turning, belly turn, belly turn. 1, 2. Little slap. 1, 2. 2. So the chi, this is a wrist set, as most strikes are, wrist set. We're hitting with the heel of the hand. 1, 2, 2. Slanting fly. Stork spreads its wings. In this stork spreads its wings, very similar to the previous one, only this time we're taking an elbow. We're grabbing a hold of their elbow. As we kind of open it a little bit, we use our own elbow. Now for this elbow strike, I kind of consider it a lot like, we talked a little bit about like starting a lawnmower or something. Now the tendency is to try to use the shoulder as a sort of a charging weapon, but it's not. The elbow is generally very easy, quick. Try not to get the shoulder involved. There's a lot of, it's easy to lift the shoulder. No, it's just like you're pulling something, and you just want to shoot the energy right out the elbow. So in this case, we neutralize. Step inside, behind, and get your base. There's another thing. When you're doing the elbow, you do not, there's a real tendency, if say I was doing it in this direction, to be moving and doing this. Now, get your base, right? Get set up, then open. You have a lot more power, it'll be a lot quicker and easier, and you won't get, there's a tendency if you get a little bit out of your center, easy to lose your root. So, here, get your setup, open, and then finally we are going to slap back like we did in the last one. And this slap back is so lovely, see? So we neutralize the person's arm, grab a hold of their elbow, get position, hit with the elbow, and then we grabbing hold, and as we pull down here, this comes in. I like this, this kind of a flinging back motion. It sort of has a very comfortable and easy way. Okay, so that's slanting flying. Next is left brush knee. Circle. Grab and push down. Now if you remember in the course itself, the person was grabbing me with two hands, and we broke the two hands off. This hand came around to reach behind them, and then this crashed down and threw them down onto the ground. So it's rather than like the other brush knees had different applications. One is like if you're punching, you just neutralizing. But here, since they've already grabbed me, it's coming around, break. And this has a slightly more downward push to it. The other ones either had a striking or they had a slightly push upward. So this is a nice, big, it's very nice because it's quite a bit bigger than the other ones. And as the whole body getting behind it, this is on their low back, and we're going to press them down. It would be kind of like if I was really doing it, it would be, this hand would be pulling in, but since it's the form, we kind of modify it a little bit. Left brush knee. Good. The next is needle at C bottom. And this needle at C bottom, remember the first needle at C bottom, we stepped up, we put a chin nod grab and pulled them, could have forced them down. In this case, they've got me. I come back, break their arm break their grip by grabbing them, and then I'm pulling down with the left hand, and the right hand is going to strike down and out. Usually we do this towards the back, towards the kidneys or something like that, or it could be to the head, to the neck. So it has a very nice 1, 2 to it. So it's 1, 2. It's beautiful. So it's 1, 2. 1, 2. So it's up and pull down, pull down. It has a slight, as you can see, it has a, if in the form, say this is straight towards the wall. Left brush knee is slightly to the left. Needle at C bottom, at first, when we break it off, we go to slightly to the right, then pull down and back to straight again. So here it's left, right, center. Brush knee is left, grab off is right, come down to center. Left, right, down. So this is pull. This is very good. Now don't pull down just with your arm. B, don't pull with your body and leave your arm. Connect the arm to your center and bend. This is a little replace, getting back. Here I'm trying to get back and away. The first one is I wanted to shorten up the distance, so we moved inward. Here I want to get a little more room, so we replace slightly backward and pull down. Fan through the back, very similar to the front one. There's minor differences, but it won't even matter. Good. Next is turn and white snake puts out tongue. Now this looks very similar to turn and chop opponent with fist. Only this time I have open hand. Turn and chop opponent with fist, as you remember, we open, neutralized, back fist, and strike. This one, the right hand's dropping down. The person is striking under, so I'm just opening and neutralizing. Neutralizing. I'm leading this person in, then I follow with a strike. Now traditionally we say this is called white snake puts out tongue because we open the mouth, neutralize it, and then sometimes we think of this as sort of poking the eyes, a forked tongue, or it comes out like so. So turn and white snake. But stance the same. It's 1, 2. When you open, keep the weight on this foot. Then shift forward. Good. Step up, deflect downward is the same as the one we did before. Step up, deflect downward, press down, and punch. Now the thing, I'm sure I mentioned it before, is to be sure not to fall when you're doing this. Bring your weight here, step down, get a root, then shift, get a root, then punch. That I cannot emphasize that enough. Do not just walk. Get your root before you release the chi built up in the kwa. So from white snake, This forms a fist, open, press, step. And then this is the same as we were doing before. Roll back, press forward, and push. Now roll back, press forward, and push. There's so many different things. It's so subtle that you know, when we're just breaking it down, I won't, you know, show it. But it all depends upon how the person's relating to you, what they're doing, if they're inside or outside of your hands, and different things like that. For instance, after right push upward. So roll back. You know, either they could grab me, and I can break their arm off. They can punch, and I can lead it in, right? I can grab them and throw them down, all those kinds of things. And pressing can have various different actions in different ways. Pushing can close up, coming outside, can close up from the underneath portion. It can press down. So many different things that we can do with this, okay? So, next single whip. This single whip is quite a nice one. This is another double punch. Just like the last one was a double punch. This one is neutralize, so they're punching, so you take it out. Then they're punching here, which you take it out, so it's 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So, as this one neutralizes, this one makes a circle and comes up and strikes around to the outside. So it looks like 1, 2. This one grabs, comes around, neutralizes and grabs, and as it leads or pulls, this comes around to strike. 1, 2, 3. This has a lovely spiral to it. So it comes over, it neutralizes, and spirals around. This one comes over, wraps around, and then it's going to grab. So here it neutralizes, then turns into a pull. One, take it out. The other punch comes in. 1, step, strike. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Very kind of looks like praying mantis kung fu, you know, that kind of thing, or monkey form that has that kind of a quality. Probably even came from that. Oh, since I made it up, I don't think so. But 2, 3. Okay, single whip. 1, 2. Next is high pat on horse. The next is another cloud's hand. This one is a little different. There's somebody who's kicking downward. So before we neutralize first with the right hand. Here, we're just immediately closing up and grabbing. We're going to grab a kick. First, I have to protect my crotch, so I'm closing it. At the same time, this is going to grab, and then I'm going to throw and follow by stepping. So, block, close, throw, and follow. So that's the sequence. So it's block, step, throw, and follow, etc. So if I did it going the other direction, block, throw, and follow. So one thing that you want to do with the stance here, so we're here. Now when, you don't want to be moving the knees like so, that you're solid. you step, you shift, you bring the foot in, place it next to it, you shift inside, but don't let this happen. You don't want to do, you know, break your root. Yeah, okay? So that's waving hands like clouds. Neutralize, throw, follow. Neutralize, throw, follow. Good. The last, the single whip follows this one, is very similar to the first. Neutralize, except that this is coming up a little bit, and I'm placing it across somebody's chest and throwing them over my leg. So in the first one that was like this, we struck. First thing that we did was they came in, we neutralized, and here we hit the ribs. Then there was somebody coming in, which we neutralized and struck. In this case, they're coming in with their, would be their left side. We come out, throw over the leg. Then again, somebody's striking here, which I neutralize, give a little pull, and strike. This little pull, quite nice. So when I'm here, they're punching in, I neutralize it, give a little pull to upset the root, and then strike. So it's a little wave. Pull, neutralize, pull, strike. So that's a fun movement. Okay, so this cloud's hands is, I step behind them, throw over the leg, pull, strike. Okay, high pat on horse, plain cross hands. Neutralize, strike. Let something in, step inside of it, and this is an upward motion. So here is gather, step, release. Now, the person is slightly to the right here, and they're punching in. So I neutralize. Now here, I'm going to step inside their stance and come in and poke right up into the throat area. So it's one. And this neutralize is going to twist, torque, and compress. Torque and compress, release. Torque and compress, release. Yeah, very nice. High pat on horse, plain cross hands. Plain cross hands. Turn and cross foot kick. Somebody is behind me. First thing I do is slap their lower body. They're real close, so I go whamp. Then this hand is going to come up to hit in the head. 1, 2. Okay? 1, 2. 1, 2. It has a very nice swinging quality to it. 1, 2. 1, 2. At the same time, we're going to add in a foot kick. 1, 2. So this is one of the few times I speed up a kick. It's the only time basically I speed up a kick. Just because it's sort of fun. I don't have to, but this is sort of a little fun thing to do. 1. Here, this is going to be hitting down, and this is going to be hitting up. So it sort of makes a nice little kind of motion. So 1, 2. In actuality, I certainly wouldn't be hitting my hand. This would be pressing into the face. 1, 2. This is balancing. There's a little snap kick. Turn and cross foot kick. 1, 2. Then we have step up and punch downward. So it's neutralize, neutralize, and punch. Now this punch, the first punch downward, we consider it was a knee punch. So this, we were kind of reaching to the knee. This one is considered a crotch punch, so it's a little bit higher. You know, it's very little, and it doesn't, you know, it's very little difference. So these neutralizes take something out. A hand out of the way, a hand out of the way, and punch. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Neutralize out, push. Now this hand, after I've neutralized out, it's sticking. So it stays where it is. This hand then opens and it punches from there. The tendency, what you're going to see is people are going to want to do it like this. If I did it, say if I was doing it in this direction. Neutralize, neutralize, punch. Making sort of a big deal about this. But it's very, you know, it's just take something out and it's still sticking, and then the punch comes from there. You don't have to, you know, particularly if you're punching the crotch, it doesn't take much to be effective. So it's just a little squeeze at the end. Light, little squeeze. Okay, so turn, crossfoot kick. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do this ward off. Again, grasping the bird's tail. The final single whip is very much like that. It's very much like that brush knee that somebody has grabbed. We break off. This hand reaches around. This hand comes underneath, and we're going to throw them pretty far. So it looks kind of like this. 1, 2. This reaches. This is underneath them, and we throw them. So it's 1, grab, throw. All waste, all waste, all waste. So they're grab or punching in. We neutralize, grab, get root, and throw. Okay, the last creeps down. Now the first creeps down, remember we led their punch in. If they could have grabbed us and we could pull down, or they were punching in, we let it down. This time they're going to kick my head. So kick towards the head. So what we're going to do is get back and out of the way. Now, I don't have to really get back very far. If somebody's trying to kick me in the head, their foot is right here. If I get my head back this far, they're not going to be able to kick me, because once the leg's in motion, they can't forward thrust it. So it doesn't take much. So what I'm going to do is, here I am. As I get back, I duck out of the way just in case I misjudge the space. This hand's going to stay, and this is going to grab the leg. Now that seems a little bit sort of impossible or difficult, because this leg is scumping around, but it's not. It's not. When you get out, this catches. You can catch it, you lift, and we do step up to form 7 stars. So here I'm lifting and coming in and punching underneath. So it's down, 2, 2. In this case, we're lifting, and this comes up. Up. This hand's already where it's going to be, and this one just comes in on it. We come into Dingbo stance on toe. Now again, you're going to have to open up, we're going to have to open up the stance, because say here's straight when I do creeps down. Now, when I go to do step up to form 7 stars, if I don't turn out this, I'm going to be all closed up. So what we're going to do is lift, pivot out, open up, and step up. Good. Okay, retreat to ride a tiger. Somebody's punching in, we neutralize and out. Neutralize and out. Neutralize and out. Neutralize and out. This is one of these sort of making two little kind of circles. Neutralize and out. And out. And out. And out. See? Empty. The punch is coming in. We leading it out. Join, and as we lead it out, this other hand comes up. There's a tendency to want to let this hand get behind the body. Don't let it get behind the body. It's just a little bit here. This is called retreat to ride a tiger. It's a little wider than your usual. Stork spreads its wings is about like this. Retreat to ride a tiger tends to have a kind of a bigger quality to it. Okay. Retreat to ride a tiger. Next is turn around and kick horizontally. The punch is coming in. Somebody's punching to the center. We're going to neutralize it. As we neutralize it, the body's going to go around, spin around. Now, as I've said before on these, all of the sort of foot kicking movements and stuff like that, that this carpet is a little tricky. Much better on linoleum, much better on hardwood floor, much better outside, you know, in someplace grassy kind of area. But the tendency is to come up on this. You want to keep the weight down. Keep the weight down. Now, this is kick horizontally. So here's this person right in front of me, and they're punching. As they punch, I empty this side, neutralize it to the side. So as I neutralize it slightly over here, I spin around, and here I'm going to step. They're right there. I'm going to step off to their side. This hand's going to keep them at bay, and this is going to come up and kick towards their back, or towards the hip, or towards the knee. We call it horizontal kick. And you'll see it mostly done kind of fast and up towards the head. And it's fun to do it in the form, you know. To do that, it's sort of one of those things. But I tend to like to do it a little slower and easier, particularly if I have a nice smooth surface. So turn around, step, and I like to do the kick the same kind of speed. So in any case, it's a horizontal, it makes a nice sweeping kick. And so to practice this, you can kick, you know, just kind of practice kicking. And it can be upper, you know, it can be kicking different levels. You can kick the knee, you can kick the hip, you can kick the chest, you can kick the head. And so I just practice that and work on that and practice that, and that's fun. And then do it, of course, do it on both sides. Those very good, this horizontal kick, very good for opening up the hip and just working these. Generally, I do like 10 at each level, you know, 10 at the knee level, 10 at the waist, 10 at et cetera. So turn around and kick horizontally. It's sort of, I'm sure it is the hardest movement in the form to do smoothly and easily, but it just takes practice. The main thing is keep your weight down. Don't stand up. Get this going. Okay? Get the neutralize happening. Now you'll see a lot of people step around. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, kick, etc. We tend to do a spinning kick. Okay, so kick horizontally. Now, next is shoot a tiger with bow. Block, hit. Grab, hit. Hit. Okay. This is hitting a tiger, shooting a tiger. In the Sansu form, the partner form, this is used a lot. This is a very close in, very powerful hit. It's just the body coming in. So here, somebody's punching me in the nose, and neutralize it, grab hold, pull. As I pull, this comes out. Now, a lot of people do what's called bend bow, shoot tiger, which is, it goes back in another direction. The way Master Choi taught me and the way I like to teach is just a very straightforward shoot a tiger with bow. And you can see it has this sort of pull the bow and out comes the arrow. I used to do it a little bit longer, kind of like that. But since I've kind of made it go a little tighter. Shoot a tiger with bow. All waist, all waist, always. Shoot a tiger with bow. Okay. Next, step up, deflect downward, and punch. Very similar, very similar. Somebody's grabbed my arm. I knock their arm off. They go to punch me, which I neutralize down, chop down, and strike. So it's very similar to everything that we've been doing. Knock off. Neutralize down. Chop down either the arm or neck or someplace like that, and punch. And again, I remind you, when you're punching in Taiji, we're going to drill the energy into the body. So we add this twist to it. In karate, gung fu, they tend to use a whole twist. We tend to use a half twist. But it's just going to concentrate and smear this energy in. So we don't want, the tendencies, I see a lot of people, is they turn this over and then punch. Even if they've got it palm upward here, they turn it over and then punch. Or they just have it here and then punch straight. The punch is happening as the body is moving. And this is a pushing punch. Again, I remind you that the body is behind it pushing as opposed to a pulling punch where you're like the back fist, that's a kind of a pulling strike. This is a pushing strike. The body is behind it instead of in front of it. Step up, parry and punch. Next, withdrawn push. And this one is very fast. This one, somebody's striking inward. I just neutralize and strike back. It's a very quick little, there's no turn, it's very fast. It's just sink, sink, and strike. That the spine is supported from here. I already have the chi up in my upper body from this punch. It's already up in here to support the punch. So in this case, the energy just goes back into the same spot. It sort of kind of bows back and then springs out again. Rather than having to go relax, come down, come up, and out, it's just very little. Withdrawn push. And finally, conclusion. So this is the same basic exercise as the cross hands, only the idea is a little bit different. Like, what do I want to create? I've just finished. Now, remember we started out this form with Wu Qi, meaning comfortable, just everything in balance, relaxed. Then we started shifting, yang and yin. We started making yang and yin unendingly, which we haven't stopped doing that. for 108, 107 movements. We've gone back and for 106 if we don't count beginning and ending. So here, now we're going to come back to Wu Qi once again. So here we kind of gather, we open, gather the energy that we've created, bring this Qi up, fill the body with Qi. Now we're going to bring this Qi back to the center. So we lower it down. When the Qi gets to the lower dantian, we leave it there, stand up, and move into Wu Qi. And this is the moment that we've worked so hard for. You know, we've spent 20 minutes approximately going back and forth, moving the Qi everywhere, and we've arrived back where we started, approximately in exactly the same spot, having worked on all of our meridians, all of our energy systems. And we want to enjoy this feeling of whatever the feeling is for you. I always hate to program people by saying, oh, you're going to feel, you know, calm, relaxed, centered, which you probably are. You're going to feel energized. You're going to feel, you know, just open. And so a lot of times at this point, I just sort of vanish. My sort of body and mind sort of let go, and I sort of vanish for a moment, just sort of into this nice state of open quietness. And so that's what you want to do. And so take the time when you finished your form to just stand, to breathe, let your pulse come back to normal, let your breath come back to normal. Just let everything kind of mellow, and then you can then move into whatever it is that you're going to be doing again. But so often I see, you know, people, you know, they finish their form, you know, and off they turn and off they go. So I really recommend taking the time to just enjoy this moment. Yeah. So I think about from here, it's just like open, gather, move the energy up, separate it into the hands, let the energy drop down into the low belly. When you feel it in the low belly, then stand up. And be sure to open, allow that Qi to open. Put a little smile on your face. Now, just turn the corners of your mouth slightly upward. You know, maybe feelings of appreciation and you know, gratitude. Sometimes it's a nice thing to fill your heart with, because here it is, you're doing something, you know, really wonderful. You know, another thing to consider, that one time I had this realization that, you know, I'm doing the same basic thing that people have been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years, unendingly. People have been doing this same basic form that I'm doing for 300 years, 250 years. Person to person to person to person. So when I'm doing this form, all those spirits of all those people that have been doing this are coming through me, because it was passed orally from person to person to person to person. And so I have the same words, I have the same oral energy that Yang Lushen had, and Yang Chen Fu, and all of the Chen Song Feng, the people who made these forms up. So I think it's a wonderful time to appreciate and to meditate on how fortunate we are to have these teachings for us. And there's something, I didn't touch on a lot of the philosophy of Tai Chi, you know, the Taoist. You know, I really highly recommend you reading Lao Tzu and Chung Tzu, reading the Taoist philosophy, reading about Confucius and Confucianism, and how, you know, all the various pieces all fit together, how life is ordered and can be ordered. And all we have to do is see clearly enough and look and see clearly how we should act and put ourselves in accordance with this. And Tai Chi, our Tai Chi form is just putting ourselves in accordance with somebody else. It's like I said, there's no way in Tai Chi that I can punch somebody. I can only react to something that's coming into my energy field. I hopefully react with a clear mind, a clear conscience, and then return the appropriate energy to deal with the situation. If it takes a lot of action to deal with it, I want to be able to do that. If it takes virtually just neutralizing and then the situation is done, I want to be able to do that rather than acting out and doing more than I need to do. So by practicing your form, I think you will find just a lot more being in tune with people around you. If you start to practice Tai Chi push hands, then you really get to understand people on an energetic level quite wonderfully. You can start to feel and sense their energy flows and where they're moving and how they're going. So if you like this form and you're playing with it and there's the opportunities available for you to study Tai Chi push hands, you definitely should. And then in your further studies, sort of the most advanced form is the Sansu partner form, 88 movement partner form, which then puts all these movements into application with some partner in a wonderful dance, and it's a beautiful, beautiful form. So, but it's very important that you work on your solo forms. Everything that comes out of these solo forms, all the weapons forms, all the partner forms. So do practice this and give yourself license to explore and to play like we've been doing. Explore it. You will find, how else is it going to grow unless you make it happen? You're the person who is going to change the evolution and help the evolution of Tai Chi form. Otherwise, it's stale and dead. It's got to change. So get in there, practice, play, and come up with new and interesting applications and ways to move. And I think that then you will enjoy it. Okay? So I hope that you've enjoyed this exploration as much as I have. And I wish you a lot of good luck in your practice, all right? So thank you for tuning in, and see you.